In every age, there comes a moment when a man must face the quiet war inside himself. Not the battle against enemies, but the one against his own fear, his own softness, his own wandering spirit. This is the story of a young man who carried the weight of invisible chains, doubt, hesitation, the clever whispers of ego. He sought strength, but his strength was scattered. He sought purpose, but his purpose slept beneath the noise of his mind. Until he met an old warrior monk who spoke like thunder wrapped in silence. If you wish to rise, boy, you must first break what imprisons you. Shugyo is not training, it is transformation, a furnace for the spirit, a path walked only by those who refuse the comfort of half-lived lives. And so the journey began, and not toward a mountain, but into the raw truth of discipline, into the ancient rhythm of presence, into the slow, brutal refinement of a man rebuilding himself from the inside out. This is not merely a story, it is a mirror, a call, a quiet doorway into the warrior you have always felt beneath your ribs. Break yourself. Rebuild the warrior within. Chapter 1. The boy who ran from his own shadow. Listen closely. A boy is running, not across a battlefield, not through storms or fire, but through the endless corridors of his own mind. His name does not matter yet, for he could be any of us before discipline takes root, before silence teaches us to hear, before presence sharpens us into something unbreakable. He lives in constant motion, always reaching for the next distraction, the next tiny spark to keep his mind from collapsing into the truth he fears. He fills his days with noise, glowing screens, voices that demand nothing, tasks done halfway, dreams chased only until they require effort. Fear is his secret master, invisible, patient, merciless. He fears stillness because stillness would reveal the hollowness inside. He fears responsibility because responsibility asks a man to confront the weight of his potential. And he fears himself most of all because he senses the warrior buried under his excuses, restless, disappointed, waiting. Tonight, his fear catches him. He fails again. Another promise broken, another attempt abandoned halfway, another moment where his potential stands before him like a mirror he refuses to look into. His chest feels heavier than his body can carry. His breath sharpens, his thoughts fray. Shame settles in like winter frost. Instead of returning home, he wanders, past the edge of the village, past the dirt roads he knows, past the safety of familiarity. He walks deeper into the quiet outskirts where the mountains rise like sleeping giants. The night is cold enough to silence the world. Even the wind hesitates. In this silence, he finally hears it, the sound of his own spirit cracking under years of avoidance. That is when he sees a light flickering ahead, a lantern, still alone. Beside it stands an old man. His robes are simple but worn with purpose. His presence is quiet, yet it hits like a blade pressed gently against the throat. Not threatening, but undeniable. The old man looks at the boy the same way a surgeon looks at an untreated wound, with honesty, clarity, and no patience for lies. "You run well," the old man says. His voice carries both warmth and command. "But you run from the wrong enemy." The boy stiffens. "I'm not running." The old man chuckles, not mockingly, but knowingly. All men say this before they learn how much running they've done. His eyes reflect the lantern flames, steady, unmoved by the cold. The boy feels seen, completely unbearably seen. The old man steps forward. "I am a practitioner of Shugyo, an ancient system, a path of breaking and rebuilding. It begins by naming your true enemy. The boy tries to hide his trembling hands. And what enemy is that? The old man lifts one finger and taps the boy's chest right over the heart. This one, the part of you that fears effort, the voice that whispers excuses, the ego that protects your weakness instead of your strength. The boy swallows hard, and if I face it, the monk's expression becomes still as stone. Then you begin the true path, but Shugyo does not comfort. It destroys what holds you back. It will break you before it builds you. The mountain wind rises, brushing cold air between them like a warning. The boy hesitates, the weight of his old life pulling at him, begging him to return to comfort, to routine, to smallness. But something deeper stirs, a low ember inside his ribs, something that has waited years for this exact moment. The monk speaks again, one final invitation. Return to your old life or step forward and let the path forge you. The boy's breath trembles, his fear screams, but his spirit whispers, step. And so, he takes one small step forward. The quiet moment that begins every transformation. Chapter 2. Enter the silence. The first trial of Shugyo dawn on the mountain does not rise gently. It cuts. Light spills over the ridges like a blade drawn from its sheath, carving the shadows off the world. The boy follows the old monk up a narrow stone path, each step colder, sharper, more unforgiving than the last. The mountain air tastes different here, thinner, cleaner, honest in a way the world below never is. Every breath burns with truth. This place, the monk says without turning, strips men of what they pretend to be. The boy pulls his cloak tighter. What happens here? Nothing. The monk stops, looks back, and speaks the next words slowly, as if placing stones with precision. Nothing is the first trial. They arrive at a secluded wooden structure nestled into the mountain shoulder, a dojo yet not like the polished halls of legends. This one is bare, quiet, untouched by time. The air around it feels heavy, as if 1,000 unspoken thoughts hang above its roof. The monk slides open the door. Inside there is no decoration, no weapons, no scrolls, no distractions. Only floor, walls, and silence so thick it presses into the bones. Sit, the monk instructs. The boy obeys, settling onto the cold wooden floor. His heartbeat echoes louder than footsteps in an empty temple. For 7 days, the monk says, taking his place a few feet away, you will speak no words. You will train not the body, but the storm within it. Silence, not calm, not still, not peaceful. A violent silence, one that reveals everything he's been outrunning. I thought training meant pushing myself, the boy whispers, already nervous. The monk's eyes narrow. Shugyo is not training. Shugyo is purification. The body follows the mind follows awareness, and awareness begins in silence. He gestures around them. This room is a mirror. It will show you what you fear, what you deny, what you hide. Most men cannot stay in such a mirror for an hour. The boy tries to steady his breath, but the quiet is too loud. His thoughts swell, scatter, collide. Why am I here? What if I fail? What will this prove? Who am I trying to impress? The monk seems to hear these thoughts, even though the boy speaks none of them. Your mind is addicted to motion, he says, to noise, to escape. But hear me well. He leans in, voice a low rumble. A warrior is forged not by movement, but by mastery of stillness. The boy swallows hard. The silence feels like a test he was never taught to prepare for. Yet the monk closes his eyes and sits unmoving, as if rooted into the earth. Minutes pass, or hours. Time loosens, stretches, dissolves. The boy's mind becomes a battlefield. Memories rise, moments he tried to forget, failures he despised, words he regretted saying, opportunities abandoned. Without distractions, every emotion he buried crawls to the surface. Fear, embarrassment, anger, self-doubt. He clenches his fists. "This is unbearable," he whispers. The monk opens one eye. "No, this is you, raw, untouched, unfiltered. And until you face this version of yourself, every skill you learn will crumble." The boy's breath trembles. Science once called this agitation cognitive dissonance. Zen called it the monkey mind. The monk calls it the first enemy. "You will stay here," he says softly, "until the storm inside you learns your voice." And what if it never does? The monk smiles faintly, not with softness, but with certainty. "Then you will stay until it does." The boy looks at the empty walls, at the shadows, at his own restless hands. And in that moment, he realizes the monk was right. He has never truly been alone with himself. Not once, not ever. Now for the first time, he must listen. Chapter 3, Pain, Persistence, and the Burning of the Ego. Pain arrives before sunrise, not as an enemy, but as a teacher. The boy wakes on the wooden floor of the mountain dojo, his back aching, his limbs stiff from the uncomfortable stillness of the night. The silence trial has ended, but its echoes cling to him. His mind feels raw, scraped clean, fragile in its new awareness. The monk stands outside, already training, already breathing in rhythm with the cold wind. His movements are slow, deliberate, carved from decades of discipline. He does not call the boy. He does not offer encouragement. Shugyo does not chase students. It waits for them to rise. So the boy forces himself up. His muscles protest. Sharp pain behind the knees, tightness in the shoulders, a soreness that feels almost personal, as if his own body is disappointed in him. He steps outside into the morning frost, each breath a small cut of winter. The monk does not turn. "Your body speaks," he says. "Listen." "It's telling me to stop," the boy mutters. "No." The monk finally looks at him. "It is telling you that you have lived softly, and softness has a cost." The boy lowers his gaze. Shugyo's second trial begins. Hours of repetition, not glorious techniques, not dramatic forms. Just the fundamentals, stances, balance, breath control, slow strength work that burns deeper than any fast technique. Monks call this work keiko, training that grinds ego into dust. Modern science calls it neuroplastic stress adaptation, the reshaping of the brain through disciplined discomfort. But the boy calls it suffering. With every movement, his muscles scream, his breath cracks, sweat chills on his skin, turning the mountain air into a blade. He stumbles, falls, catches himself, falls again. The monk watches in complete silence, neither harsh nor comforting. "Why aren't you helping me?" the boy gasps. "I am helping you." "How?" The monk steps closer, eyes sharp as winter. "Because every time you fall, your ego burns a little more. Every time you rise, your spirit strengthens. If I make this easy, you remain who you were." The boy grits his teeth, pushing through another stance. His legs shake violently. His arms feel like ropes ready to snap. His frustration rises, a heat in the chest, a bitterness in the throat. "I can't do this," he says. "That is your ego speaking." "No, that's my limit." The monk raises an eyebrow. Limits are discovered, not declared. The boy collapses to his knees, choking on the cold air. His hands curl into fists. He feels ashamed, a child pretending to be a warrior. He feels weak, broken, exposed. This time, the monk sits beside him. "You believe strength is built in the moments you feel powerful," he says quietly. "But true strength is forged in the moments you feel powerless and choose to continue." The boy's eyes sting. Why does it hurt this much? Because you are not just training the body, you are burning away the parts of you that cling to comfort. The monk points to the rising sun. Every warrior is shaped in fire. This pain is your fire. The boy closes his eyes, breathes, lets the cold settle into him like a second skin. Then slowly, painfully, he stands. The monk nods, the smallest gesture of approval. "Good. Now again." And so the boy repeats the stances and repeats until the pain is no longer his enemy, but his compass. Chapter 4. The Warrior's Presence. Moving through fear. Fear waits for him at the edge of the forest. Not the loud kind, not the kind that shouts or claws or threatens, but the quiet kind. The kind that breathes at the back of the neck. The kind that rises in moments when the world goes still. After the brutal days of repetition, pain, and ego breakage, the monk finally gives the boy a new instruction. "Today we walk." The boy assumes it will be simple. A hike through the mountain paths, a chance to rest his overworked body. He is wrong. The forest that surrounds the mountain is dense, tall cedars rising like pillars of an ancient temple, the canopy letting in only thin spears of light. Moss softens the ground, but every sound echoes as if the trees themselves are listening. The boy follows the monk deeper and deeper, until even the wind feels cautious. "Why are we here?" he whispers. "To teach you present," the monk replies, the third layer of Shugyo. The boy frowns. "Presence? But we've already done silence, discipline, pain." Silence is the foundation. Pain carves the vessel. Discipline fills it. But presence animates the warrior. The monk stops, turns, and his voice becomes low, precise. "You still fear what may happen. You still cling to what has already happened. Presence is the art of standing fully in this moment, unmoved by ghosts of the past or shadows of the future." He gestures toward the darkness between the trees. "And so today, you will walk through your fear." The boy swallows. "Fear of what?" The monk smiles faintly. Fear always begins as the unknown. They continue walking until the trail disappears and the forest swallows them. It grows darker, colder. The boy's heartbeat grows louder, syncing with the slow, steady rhythm of the monk's footsteps. "Stay close," the monk says. "Fear hunts the unfocused." The boy tries to laugh it off, but there is something about his mentor's tone, not joking, not playful, that makes the forest feel even more alive. Every branch, creak, every distant echo, every whisper of leaves, the boy's breath speeds up. "I don't like this," he mutters. "Good," the monk says. "Fear is information, but panic is blindness. Feel the fear. Do not become it." "I can't help it." "You can, but only through presence." The monk stops again, his eyes sharpen. "What do you notice?" he asks. The boy strains his senses. Trees, darkness, noises. Too vague. Try again. Details, reality. Presence sharpens perception. The boy focuses harder. "I hear 3 water droplets falling at a distance. The earth smells damp, like it rained here last night. The air is colder on my right side, and now there must be an opening or cliff there. I hear a low rumbling, maybe wind through a narrow pass." The monk nods. "Good. Fear fades when the mind names reality." They walk again. The forest grows darker still until light is an old memory. The boy's breath trembles. His body tenses. Sweat runs down his spine despite the cold. He feels watched, not by animals, not by spirits, but by his own uncontrolled imagination. He stumbles. "Stop," the monk says. "Listen." The boy closes his eyes. At first, all he hears is his heart. Then, slowly, other sounds appear beneath it. A trickling stream, a shift of branches, the pulse of wind between roots, the natural order of the forest, nothing threatening, nothing hunting, nothing unknown. Just life continuing exactly as it always has. The monk whispers, "You see, fear lives in the mind, presence lives in the moment, and the moment is never as terrifying as imagination." The boy exhales, a long, trembling breath he didn't know he was holding. Something inside him loosens, something inside him strengthens. The fear doesn't vanish, but it becomes manageable, walkable, faceable. The monk places a hand on his shoulder. A warrior does not eliminate fear. He walks through it with awareness. This is the art of presence. The forest, once suffocating, now feels wider, clearer, honest. The boy stands taller. The monk steps ahead, deeper into the darkness. Come, there is more to learn. Chapter 5. Break yourself, rebuild the warrior. Dawn finds the boy standing alone on the ridge, not trembling, not lost, still. For the first time since arriving on the mountain, he stands without instruction, without reassurance, without the monk's voice guiding his next breath. Presence has taken root. Discipline has carved him inwardly. Pain has burned away the boy he once was. But the monk knows what the boy does not. The final transformation of Shugyo does not come from silence or suffering or endurance. It comes from purpose, and purpose is the rarest fire of all. The monk approaches quietly, as if studying a sculpture, still in the process of being shaped. His robes rustle in the morning wind, but his eyes are steady, sharp as a hawk's, calm as a lake's reflection. You have walked through fear, the monk says. You have learned silence, presence, and discipline. But none of this means anything without a path. The boy dips his head respectfully. Then teach me the path. The monk shakes his head. No one can teach you your path. A warrior's purpose cannot be given. It must be found, claimed, forged. The boy frowns. I don't know what mine is. The monk gestures toward the vast mountains, the valleys below, the world stretching outward. That is because you have spent your life reacting, not choosing. Today, that ends. He directs the boy to sit at the cliff's edge. The sky glows red like a forge, waking from sleep. Listen, the monk says. The boy closes his eyes. Silence, breath, the slow thunder of his heartbeat. What do you desire? The monk asks. The boy hesitates. Strength. Why? To protect myself, to stop being weak. The monk's voice sharpens. That is ego. Try again. The boy swallows. Then, to be respected. Ego. The boy's voice cracks. To prove I'm not a failure. The monk's response is immediate. Ego disguised as pain. Again. The boy exhales harshly, frustration rising. Then what should I want? The monk kneels in front of him, gripping his shoulders with surprising strength. A warrior does not seek to prove anything. A warrior seeks to serve something. The boy's breath trembles. Serve what? That is what you must find. The monk releases him. Stand. The boy rises. This is your final trial, the monk says. You will descend into the valley alone. No guidance, no instruction. Only the man you have become. And you will return. Only when you had discovered chest tightens. How will I know when I've found it? The monk steps back, voice low and certain. You will know because it will scare you. It will demand the strongest version of you, and it will not be about you. The boy looks down the steep path leading to the valley floor. Shadows stretch between the trees. The air grows warmer, heavier, more human as the mountain's purity fades. There is one more thing, the monk says. He approaches the boy's side. The first time he stands beside him instead of ahead. If you cannot find your purpose, the monk murmurs, you will return to the man you were before you stepped onto this mountain. The boy's breath catches. That is the true fear. Not hardship, not pain, not silence, but regression. Returning to the life he was desperate to escape. Becoming the boy who ran from his own shadow. He squares his shoulders. I will not return empty. The monk nods once, then go. The boy takes one step down the path. The same step he took the night he first met the monk. But this time it feels different. This time it feels chosen.